What can you do when the guy you trusted with your life is the same one who burns it all down tonight? Harlem is drowning in betrayal, despair, and wrath because Jim Jones has just been sentenced to prison, and the man Cameron, his day one brother, is behind the last blow. But that's not the worst part. In a horrific twist that no one saw coming, Cameron's own family has just released damaging information about Chrissy. They demolished everything left standing, caught between treachery and humiliation. Chrissy was seen breaking down in tears, her entire life falling right in front of her, as the cameras rolled and the streets continued talking. Tonight we break up the facts they tried to conceal, uncovering hidden betrayals, deep rivalries, and a scandal so raw it's got Harlem ready to erupt. Stay locked in, because after you hear what went down behind those locked doors, you'll never look at loyalty the same way again. There are moments in history when things take an unforeseen turn and nothing is ever the same again. This is one of those moments. Jim Jones was once an untouchable, yes, you heard it right. The iconic Dipset rapper, who we all thought was above the law, has now been convicted and sentenced to prison. The news hit hard, and just when everyone thought the dust had cleared when a bombshell landed that none of us saw coming. But that's not where the tale stops. No, as if the courtroom drama wasn't enough, Cameron, the very same Cameron who's renowned for his sharp tongue and quick wit, has suddenly found himself under assault. And here's the kicker. It's all because he exposed Chrissy's deepest secrets, truths so shocking that even the strongest of us had to pause and think. What truly goes on behind the scenes of their public persona? You can already feel the tension in the air, can't you? Jim Jones is behind bars. His empire is disintegrating, and Cameron is trapped in a maelstrom of mayhem. But wait, there's more. What if I told you that the drama doesn't finish with just a few secrets spilling? Oh, trust me, it goes much deeper, darker, and more twisted. Now let's break it down. You know Jim Jones' reputation in hip-hop, his position as a leader and diplomats, his influence in the streets. But what you didn't know is that his demise was years in the coming, a slow burn that no one could stop. The rumors in the business have been growing louder for a time now, about his connections, shady dealings, and the dubious individuals he's been rubbing elbows with. No one could have anticipated it would come to this. Speaking of connections, let's talk about Cameron. Chrissy, we thought the game was over for everyone involved, but what actually happened? Who was pulling the strings? And what did Chrissy have to lose that would cause her to behave the way she did? Could this entire incident have been avoided, or was it always intended to explode up in their faces? Let's start with Jim Jones. He was always more than just a rapper. He was a brand, a symbol. But what lies beyond that polished exterior? It's easy to get caught up in the music and forget that these public personalities are frequently juggling more than we understand: allegations of corruption, murky connections, and treachery. These aren't just rumors anymore. They're truths. And these facts are the exact sources close to the case have revealed devastating material that connects Jim to illicit actions that go beyond what any rap career could explain. We're talking about the type of, don't get me wrong, this isn't some weird conspiracy idea. We have records, witness accounts, and indisputable evidence that connects Jim to illegal actions that went unnoticed for far too long. But here's where it gets interesting. Chrissy Lampkin, the lady at the center of this storm. If you thought this was only about Jim, think again. The whole tale lays in Chrissy's participation, her link to the criminal underworld, and the lengths she would go to safeguard the secrets she's been hiding for years now. What happens when someone's secrets are exposed? The veneer crumbles. Cameron plunged into the fire, willing to expose Chrissy for who she actually is. But was it worth it? Was Cameron's dedication to his buddy and the truth worth the criticism? Because here's the problem: once you peel back the curtain, there's no turning back. The entire situation is a tangle of power struggles, backstabbing, and dubious. Jim's demise wasn't just his own. It's a mirror of the people around him, the ones who enabled his ascent and are now witnessing his crash and burn in real time. And Chrissy, well, she's at the center of it all, holding the skeletons in her closet that might take down more than just Jim. So where does this leave Cameron trapped in the middle, facing his own issues while attempting to navigate a world of treachery and secrets. Further into what went wrong, how the players got involved, and why this entire scenario is likely to get a lot worse. But before we go any further, let's take a minute to comprehend the significance of what we're experiencing. Celebrity Scandal, this is a high-stakes game of power, treachery, and survival, and every single one of these participants is going to pay the repercussions. How did it all fall apart for Jim Jones? What dark secrets is Chrissy hiding and why? Did Cameron risk everything to uncover the truth? As we continue to peel back the layers of this terrible story, we dig further into the labyrinth of lies, betrayals, and secrets that have been meticulously kept from the public view. Jones sits behind bars, facing allegations that might define the rest of his life. The consequences from Cameron's stunning discoveries is only beginning to unravel. And let me assure you, what Cameron disclosed isn't just drama, of truth that threatens the fundamental basis of our entire universe. We all know Chrissy Lumpkin. She's always been the picture of devotion and strength by Jim's side. But what if I told you that loyalty is nothing more than a well-crafted mask, masking a lady who's been playing a far greater game than anybody could ever think? The reality is Chrissy's been hiding some skeletons and dark secrets that, if discovered, might transform the way we look at her whole connection with Jim Jones. You see, Jim's arrest wasn't just about him. It was about what Chrissy was attempting to preserve. For years, she's been the gatekeeper, keeping a tight hold on the empire Jim established to safeguard their brand. But what happens when that gate is thrown open and the truth comes spilling out? Details of Chrissy's involvement in these nefarious deals have been slowly leaking out, and what we've discovered is nothing short of to the public. Chrissy was always the supporting fiancé, the loving partner who stuck by Jim's side through thick and thin. However, behind closed doors, she was a different woman, a woman who was ready, would do everything to safeguard the riches and power they gained. Now, let's break it down. Spanning several years, Cameron, in his typical no-holds-barred approach, didn't just allude at these operations, but laid all out. There were offshore accounts, mysterious characters moving money in and out of the nation, and dealings with underground people who no one had the audacity to even question. But here's where it gets even more twisted. According to many anonymous sources, Chrissy wasn't simply a spectator. She was a co-conspirator in several of these nefarious operations. In fact, some insiders allege that Chrissy was the genius behind numerous major choices in Jim's illegal enterprise. Chrissy was pulling the strings in the background, manipulating circumstances to safeguard their assets and further cement their influence over the game. Imagine this Chrissy, the lady we've all met on reality TV with hazardous secrets. They might ruin not just Jim's career, but hers as well. And it wasn't just the money side of things. Oh no, it goes deeper than that. Chrissy had her hands in some very dark areas, places that contained dangerous individuals and unlawful actions and threats that might harm not just her future, but even her life. Now I know what you're thinking. How did we get here? How did Chrissy go from being the lady we all felt was loyal, to her partner, to someone potentially connected with organized crime? Well, people, that's the true story here. The deeper we dig into Chrissy's participation, the more we unearth reports from several reliable, according to insiders. Chrissy was not only unaware of Jim's transactions, she was also a willing participant in money laundering schemes that helped transit millions via genuine businesses and false organizations, all while playing the role of the supporting fiancé in front of the cameras. It's a great illustration of the type of double life that so many in the entertainment business lead. Public personalities presenting a squeaky clean image while quietly operating in the shadows. But let's not forget about the one thing that actually placed the entire plan at risk: Cameron. When Cameron dropped the bomb regarding Chrissy's participation, it sent shockwaves through the entire. His statements were more than simply an assault on Chrissy. They were a threat to the entire structure of the empire Jim Jones and Chrissy had established. That's when the gloves came off. But why did Cameron do it? Why risk all to exposing Chrissy, someone he formerly considered a friend and a close confidant? According to people close to Cameron, he wasn't only acting out of spite. Cameron thought that the truth needed to come out because the public deserved to know the actual story behind the beautiful lifestyles of celebrities like Jim and Chrissy. He wasn't prepared to let them get away with it. In the end, it wasn't just about retribution. It was about exposing the darker side of a world that's often kept from public view. Now you might be asking, what about the fallout? What does all of this mean for Chrissy, Jim Jones, and even Cameron? It's one thing to disclose a secret, but it's another to cope with the facts. The impact of Cameron's allegations has been felt across the whole entertainment industry. Fans are split, with some siding with Jim and Chrissy and others screaming for justice. However, no one can deny that as the world watches, Chrissy's world is falling around her, and with each new discovery, her grasp on her empire loosens. The real issue, however, is whether Chrissy will be able to weather this storm, or is this the beginning of the end for her? And what about Jim? With his legal problems mounting, can he survive the consequences from these exposés? Or is he genuinely, as the dust settles following Cameron's earth-shattering expose, the actual impact is beginning to take form, and it's harsher than anybody could have anticipated. Agent Jim Jones, once a respected legend in Harlem, and well beyond now, finds himself not just battling legal demons, but facing a full-blown collapse of everything he constructed. With federal prosecutors now armed with the stunning charges presented by Cameron and corroborated by anonymous whistleblowers, the legal news around Jim's neck is tightening quickly. Word from sources says that prosecutors have already launched a wide inquiry into Jim's financial actions, using Cameron's leaks as a roadmap. Juries are being formed. Former associates are being summoned in. Secret dealings that were previously whispered about behind closed doors are now being laid naked in courtrooms crowded with media. The feds aren't only coming for Jim, they're coming after everyone who touched the empire, including Chrissy. In an ironic twist, Chrissy's attempts to protect Jim over the years may have inadvertently sealed both of their fates. Sources close to the case explain Chrissy's name appears on many important financial documents currently under federal examination. Documents that might incriminate her in conspiracy, money laundering, and obstruction of justice accusations. Social media is in total turmoil. 1 minute fans were arguing if Cameron was simply being nasty. The next minute breaking news alerts were flashing up across every platform, revealing that a full-fledged federal inquiry was underway. Chrissy wasn't just a ride-or-die fiance, she was possibly a co-defendant. Twitter exploded, Instagram blogs went into meltdown mode, and TikTok theorists began constructing intricate timelines. Connections, the missing money. It wasn't just a scandal, it became the scandal of the year. Meanwhile, Jim Jones himself is breaking under the strain. Court drawings depict him looking hollowed out, broken, nothing like the fearless rapper who previously ruled stages and record charts. In private sources say he's been urgently attempting to negotiate a bargain, a way out that would limit his time, but there's a catch. To rescue himself, he may have to turn on Chrissy. Imagine, according to individuals close to the case, Jim, the guy Chrissy has battled for all these years, may be turning on her to save his own skin. Federal prosecutors are dangling a proposal in front of Jim, a dramatically reduced sentence in return for testifying against his longtime girlfriend. The authorities want Chrissy badly, but that's not even the full story. Jim and Chrissy flaunted their opulent mansions, exotic automobiles, stylish outfits, and lavish trips on social media for years. And guess what? The IRS and Department of Justice are now stepping in to take those assets. Every car, every real estate property is being audited, investigated, and in some cases, repossessed. It's a full and total breakdown. Adding fuel to an already burning fire, other celebrities, our longtime pals in the business, have suddenly gone radio silent. Endorsement arrangements have been terminated. Reality TV producers are said to be wiping old video featuring Jim Jones and Chrissy. Even Moma Scott Young, the executive producer of Love and Chewy Hip Hop, is believed to be outraged behind the scenes and racing to figure out how to minimize the association. Word on the street is that she's considering re-editing earlier reunion programs to diminish Chrissy's presence entirely. It's as if Chrissy Lampkin is being wiped in real time. And as for Cameron, love him or loathe him, He's standing strong, unbothered. While Jim and Chrissy's world burns down, Cameron is collecting thousands of followers. Every Instagram live he conducts seems like a victory lap. Every shady in the court of public opinion. Cameron didn't just win, he crushed the opposition. However, there is an underlying melancholy to all of this. Once a time, Jim Jones and Cameron were more than adversaries. They were brothers in arms, partners, and family members. What we're witnessing isn't just the devastation of careers, it's the demise of a dynasty. The Dipset legacy, long thought to be unshakable, now lays in ruins, brought down by greed, deception, and arrogance, and the ripple effects spread well beyond Jim Jones, and Chrissy Harlem itself is mourning. To the neighborhood, Jim Jones was a symbol, although imperfect, of accomplishment and tenacity. Against all odds, that symbol has been broken, leaving behind a deep, bitter scar that may never completely heal. Meanwhile, Chrissy's destiny is hanging on a thread, with Jim Jones possibly turning state's evidence on her previously dazzling existence. Might soon be consigned to a chilly hard jail cell. Whispers claim Chrissy has already lawyered up, bringing in one of New York's finest criminal defense firms. However, even the greatest attorneys can't erase evidence or remove years of unscrupulous Don't forget that the public is monitoring everything. The same people who previously celebrated Chrissy's love proposals on national television are now examining every document, every interview, every suspicious money trail with merciless precision. There's no hiding now the last nail in the coffin. Anonymous leaks indicate that more indictments might be made against additional acquaintances tied to Jim Jones and Chrissy. Business associates, old pals, and even a few names who haven't surfaced yet, but are supposedly neck-deep in the same corruption issue, about an entire house of cards falling down, bringing everyone linked to it into the devastation. And as the final court dates grow closer, the big issue remains. Will Jim Jones and Chrissy face the repercussions together, or will they turn on each other in one last desperate push for survival? Because in this game, loyalty is simply another term for collateral damage. And just like that, the empire shattered. Jim Jones confronting prison walls, Chrissy Lampkin looking down betrayal from the guy she once swore was her everything. And Cameron watched it all from the front row with the sneer of a man who knew this day would come. But the real question is, was it worth it? Was pursuing the money, celebrity, and false loyalty worth sacrificing all they achieved? Was the Dipset ideal always bound to crumble under the weight of its own secrets? And most significantly, who's truly to blame here? Is Jim Jones, Chrissy, Cameron, Harlem itself? Since in a world loyalty is purchased, love is weaponized, and secrets are cash, nobody walks away clean. Now I want to hear from you. Do you believe Jim Jones deserves a second chance after all the scandals? Should Chrissy be held accountable if the claims are true? And was Cameron a hero for exposing the truth, or just a snake playing a bigger game? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't hold back, I'm reading everything. And if you thought this was messy, trust me, what comes next will even scarier. Additional leaks, betrayals, and downfalls are set to shock the business even more. Make sure if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. If you have not previously done so, switch on your alerts so you never miss the actual thing. Stories they don't want you to hear. Because over here we don't simply sip, we spill the whole freaking pot. Stay locked in.